having grown up not far, from where the 49ers are playing, what was kind of your experience growing up? I mean, were you a 49ers fan, and what does it mean to go back to the Bay Area?
Similar to how I feel about them now. Never really liked them. And then naturally going to the Packers, that was kind of like our rival. Other than, you could say the Bears, but we didn't really look at that like too much of a rivalry game. So, but yeah, all jokes aside, though, it's a team that since I've been in the league, they've been in our way. With the Packers, they beat us a few times in some pretty meaningful games. So it always brings out a little bit more inside you. And then going back home, obviously being in front of the home crowd, it's always been fun to play those games in front of my family and like I said, my home crowd. Some people from high school going out there and everything. So yeah, it's a meaningful.
Davante, got it?
No. How does that feel? It was good, man. That never gets old. Obviously, I'm not somebody that plays for that or for the praise or the acknowledgments or certainly not for anybody's approval. But it's something that means a lot to be mentioned with great players. That you look at some of the lists that my name has been mentioned with. It's all Hall of Famers that are attached to it. So that means a lot, though. Just like I tell everybody that's been reaching out recently about touchdowns or team success. We say we're gonna keep climbing and look up when we get to the top, or when it's over. So that's kind of what I'm telling you.
Davante, now on a team with Matthew, when you see him completing these no-look passes, what's your reaction in real time or in film?
Well, in real time, I look for the football to make sure I can make a play on it, and then after the fact, I'm always wild by it. It's something that I'm starting to become accustomed to seeing a little bit more with him, just because. He uses that it's not like a specialty weapon. That's like one of his go-tos at this point. That says a lot about him to be able to use that as something that he does as consistently as he does. So I love to see it. He's usually manipulating something to make a bigger window for us to run through. So I love to see it.
Forgive my naivety on here, but when he throws those, what are you looking at when Matthew's throwing a no-look pass?
Same thing as if he was looking at me.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Just finding the quarterback and. Just staying on the move, staying ready.
You're just looking at the ball. You're not watching his face, where he's.
No, you can obviously see that, but once you look back, you find the target, and 9 times out of 10, the ball's already gone before I look at him anyway. That's typically how we work on it for the timing of the play. So a lot of times sometimes I may not know. Like that one, I didn't know that it was no look until they were talking about it, and I saw the replay up there after. So the ball came out so perfectly on time that I turned and it was right there ready to get caught.
And then for you, you have 7 catches in the red zone and they're all touchdowns. Mm-hmm. What's working so well for you in that area?
We've been finding a way to marry up the plays that we run out of certain personnels and find some one-on-ones, playing a number game basically. If they want to go one-on-one, and we like that matchup. And if they want to make travel somebody out there and play a bracket or a double team or vice, however they want to do it, then obviously we got numbers there too. They either run it or run another play.
You play like that big route where Matthew releases the ball so early in your route and you're able to connect on it. What does that tell you about where you guys are in terms of building a connection? We talked about this last week.
It don't always work whether he's looking or he's not looking, it doesn't always work, but once you start getting no-look passes from Matthew, that means he trusts you. He's got a good understanding of where you're going to be and knowing that you're going to be in the spot you're supposed to at the time you're supposed to. So that's something that we've been working on, and obviously it's starting to pay off a little bit.
You had the good fortune of playing with 2 of the maybe best pure passers in the NFL history. What's it like? What's different about those guys in terms of the way they release the ball from a receiver's perspective?
Nobody throws it the same, so it's going to be different for everybody. But they both utilize the no look. I think Matthew probably has a little bit higher volume of no look passes than what Aaron would do. But Aaron's just got the ability to spit the ball out, with not much. He'll see something last minute and just let it fire. He's got that type of quick release, a lot of torque, a lot of core power to get the ball where he wants to at the last minute. So that's something that he and I worked on a lot of times, where I may have a route that was 15 yards on paper, and one route versus a certain look, I may make it at 12 or 11 yards, and then another one, if he's super far off or whatever, I may have to push it to 16, just based off of that. And he had the ability to kind of sit there and wait on it and read my body language and fire a good ball. And Matthew's a little bit more regimented of how he does things as far as the details of the knowing exactly where to be. But with that, he's going to put the ball where it needs to be. 9 times out of 10 there as well. So they both got their superpowers and they use them differently. But it's never one of those things where one is better than the other. It's apples and oranges, true.
Does Matthew seem 37 to you?
38. No, he's. I mean, you don't see any of that until maybe take off trying to run or something like that. But for the most part, he looks like he can go out there and sling it with the young guns too.
38.
How different from what you've seen on tape is this San Francisco defense without Fred Warner in the mix this week?
I mean, anytime you take Fred off the field, it's going to be different for sure. I wouldn't say that it's. They're still the defense that they are. It's the way that they're coached. It's just the way that Fred has led them to be over there. So, no matter who's in there, we expected them to be able to play the same type of, same brand of football. Maybe not exactly like Fred would play, but guys are still gonna be flying around.
Going back to what Gary was asking about Matthew, what in your eyes is the key to them sustaining the way they played for as long as they have, the ones that are at that level?
Just that cerebral approach to the game. It's one thing to have an arm and be able to throw, but you don't get into that's a prerequisite to play quarterback in this league. You got to be able to throw the football, decently well. They critique everybody and act like certain guys can't throw well, but they can all throw the ball. It's just about how well you can, get on the same page with guys, how much you're willing to work through whatever, what he and I have, just because of the bumps we've had with injuries and stuff like that early. So anytime you got a guy that's cerebral about the game and understands the small, little different nuances, not letting certain things slide that are, important as to why, even a 12-yard curl works out. Just understanding, hey, I need you to be on the outside edge of the numbers, inside edge of the numbers, or breaking at 6 steps versus, 8. Those type of things are real important to him and how he sees the game. And, that's a big reason why I kind of got to be the cerebral player I am, is because of playing with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. And he's a lot of the same as far as the details. Maybe not exactly the yardages, but honestly, that's something you got to work to, where you can start playing, with your depth on routes and, different techniques and stuff like that. But yeah, he's a guy that obviously knows a lot about the game and has a lot of experience and played with some great receivers too. So being able to take different things from different guys and implement it into the way we do it here that's why we're able to make it look like we do.
Just like kicker mean to an offense.
I mean, that's a offense's or a team's best friend, really. I mean, you obviously, and it's the kicking unit. It's not a kicker. There's so many pieces to it: the protection, the snap, the holder. The confidence of putting that confidence into your kicker. So, our kicking game, our field goal unit hasn't been where we wanted to be this year, obviously. But there's so many pieces more than just one person. So we gotta make sure we find a way to rally on that. But optimistic that we'll figure it out for sure.
All right. Thanks, guys.